I'm meeting two baby orangutans, both rescued when their mothers were killed on plantations.
These two youngsters are 4 and 3 years old.
Here, they'll be looked after, with keepers teaching them the skills their mother would have done.
Seeing them being led by the hand like that is exactly how I lead my baby son around. Hey, hello. What's your name? The name orangutan in Malay means person of the forest. And this is such a well-adapted animal to living in the treetops. This is the world's largest arboreal mammal, that is, tree-living mammal. The males can be absolutely huge and yet still be utterly at home up in the treetops. Although their red-orange fur looks to us to be quite obvious, if you put them into an environment that is quite dark and shaded and you get reflections off the trees and through the leaves, actually they blend in really, really well. And silhouetted up against the sky like this, they can pretty much disappear. Watching these two tussle together, it's so playful. So much like a pair of human siblings, brother and sister, battling away, just scrapping with each other. And all of a sudden, the second you see the problem here through their eyes, that's when it starts to become real. The fact that we could lose not only these ancient forests, but the animals that live in them for the sake of one single product is, to me, one of the great catastrophes of the modern world. Pass me the binoculars. We have a cat. There's a serval just ahead of us, lying down right in the middle of this path. Oh, she's up, she's up, she's up. Engine off, engine off. Thanks, Don. What a gorgeous sight. She's completely chilled. She's just lying there. She's not moving. This is prime time for Serval to be hunting. And you can see that the ears are flicking around from side to side. Even above the sound of the power station, she can probably hear the movements of her rodent prey. And, oh, she's up and... Did you see that? She just leapt completely out off the path onto prey. She must have heard something and gone for it. Did you get that, Graham? She went way up. She must have gone a good couple of meters up into the air. That's what Serval are known for, is that extraordinary bounce. We just saw a Serval hunt. I don't believe it. That's amazing. There she is, there she is. Licking her lips and walking straight towards us.
Just seeing a serval is so rare, but to see one actually hunt is something few have ever seen.
This is absolutely incredible. This is a cat that people could live their whole lives in the African bush and not see. They're so shy, so secretive, and we have one strolling down the path towards us.
And our cat was still hungry.
I'm pretty sure that she's heard something just in the vegetation here to our right. Keeps glancing over that way. Keep watching, Gray, keep watching. She is poised any second now. I don't believe what I just saw. Second time in just 1 minute. Oh, it's got something. And she's swallowing it. The tail is just hanging out the side of her mouth. We have just watched a successful serval hunt from start to finish. There can't be many people who can say that. Oh my gosh, he is absolutely fantastic.
So he's still a baby. He's not even a year old yet. He actually came in 240 grams. He was like this big. Unfortunately, poachers took his mum, and she gave birth in captivity with the poachers due to stress. She didn't make it, unfortunately, but he did.
Archie's mum suffered lots of injuries when captured by poachers. Poaching is the illegal catching of pangolins.
Should we see if we can get a little bit closer?
Archie will stay in the care of the sanctuary for another 3 months before he's ready to be released into the wild.
Yes. I mean, not many people have been climbed on by a pangolin.
This is absolutely classic. Archie the pangolin has decided that he loves Graham, our cameraman. Have you got ants up your shorts or something, Gray? Hello, Archie. Oh. Just wandering over my legs. Oh. He's kind of clenching his whole body around me, like wrapping, embracing me in his tail. Look at that! No, not there. Well, I have certainly never had an experience like that before with a pangolin. It's hard to believe that this is the most trafficked, one of the most persecuted animals on the planet.
Archie's specific species is the Temminck's ground pangolin. There are 8 different pangolin species found throughout most of Africa and Southeast Asia. All of them are being poached at an alarming rate, and they are all facing extinction. It's shocking to think pangolins are under so much threat.
He is one of the most adorable animals I've ever seen. Look at that.
At the moment, he's actually playing.
He's playing, is he?
Yeah.
So this isn't kind of like fake foraging, he's actually socializing.
Yes, so you have to remember they're mammals, and like most mammals, they do play. This is how they learn a lot of their skills.
Pangolins are mammals just like the chimpanzee, the elephant, and the lion, all of which learn skills through play.
I mean, that is perhaps the first of many, many unusual and unique things about the pangolin. It is simply the fact that this is a mammal.
So much life down there. There are shells everywhere. So much food. But these animals really need it. Sea otters have such rapid metabolisms that they need to feed almost constantly. And this kind of area in here in the kelp just offers so many opportunities for them. Yeah, it's great. They're all just popping up to spy on me from a distance.
They're very cute, but I think if you went in for a cuddle, you'd get a nasty surprise. Like all members of the weasel family, they do have a dark side. Sea otters are purely carnivorous and find their food down deep, diving to as much as 75 meters and staying under for up to 10 minutes at a time. Their stout-crushing teeth make easy meals of clams, mussels, spiky sea urchins, crabs, and other crustaceans. They need to eat a quarter of their body weight a day. That is a whole heap of crabs. And they also need to watch their backs. Sea otters are territorial, and males will fight ferociously to defend their patch. Look at that! They really do look like fighting swimming bears.
Well, you can see why the kelp is such an important environment to the sea otters. But the water's just way too cold for me. I think I'm gonna head for a sea kayak. Much more my kind of thing.
So far, so cuddly. In order to put sea otters on the list, I'd really like to show them at work. And on the outskirts of the rafts of resting otters, there are bound to be some foraging.
Ho-ho! Hello, fella. This is an adult male sea otter. Larger than the females. I can tell it's adult because he's got that wonderful blonde head. I know this animal looks impossibly cute and cuddly right now, but actually what it's doing is the very reason why it has to go on the Deadly 60. Look at that. I mean, I can't quite see what he's got, but I can hear the crunching sound. The front teeth are very, very sharp, canines, but towards the back of his mouth, he has cheek teeth, which can be used to crunch right through the thick shells of certain kinds of shellfish. But if they're too hard, what the sea otter will do is lay a flat stone on his chest and smash shellfish on it using this kind of motion.
Yep, sea otters use rocks as tools. They dive down and choose a nice flat rock, place it on their chest, and repeatedly smash shellfish against it to get at the flesh inside. They've even been known to hammer open shells on the side of expensive yachts.
This is wonderful. I can't believe he's just sitting here feeding just in front of me, totally unbothered. And the crunching sound from his teeth is just amazing. Wow, what a creature. The sea otter. It might well be the cutest animal we ever deal with on the Deadly 60, but that doesn't make it any less lethal. Definitely going on my list. Oh, yay! You see where my light's pointed, Gray? Striped dart frog, yeah, Kieran? Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Looks like it's made out of jewels. This is a 3-striped dart frog. The stripes are part of its warning coloration. Bright, dramatic colours that let other animals know they're not going to be good to eat. And in this case, not just bad to eat, but potentially lethal. Dart frogs hold in their skin the most virulent natural toxins on the planet. And how it gets them is utterly fascinating. It comes from insects like ants and some kinds of beetles.
These bugs have chemicals they use for stinging and biting, little toxic terrors.
And then the frog eats those and it gets more and more fiery. In fact, so much so that a tiny frog this sort of size could kill a dozen people.
For generations, local people have wiped their arrow tips on some of the most poisonous frogs before a hunt. Anything they shot would die almost instantly. It's how the poisoned dart frog got its name.
Oh, did you see that? He just scoffed a bug right in front of us. He did. We have just over here a nest. Oh, look at that, and a tiny chick underneath it. Whoa, 2 tiny chicks underneath it. Check that out.
My crew and I head in for a closer look.
To this dry, rugged island makes the perfect place for them to have their youngsters. There are no natural land-born predators here, and they're going to have a good while on the ground on these, well, I mean, you call it a nest, but there's really not much to it. No protection, that's for sure. But still, they must be doing pretty well because the birds are everywhere. I mean, circling around our heads, it's like being on some lost world island with the skies full of pterodactyls. It's a crazy-looking nest. It almost looks like a volcanic crater with a dip in the middle where the eggs are laid, and then all around the outside is this kind of white spray from where they'll just high-velocity squirt poo poo out of their backsides, but making sure they keep it well clear of the nest, where they're going to have to spend many months before they finally fledge, that is, get their flight feathers and take to the air for the first time. That was a squirt of poo aimed very much in my direction.
There's actually 2 chicks in this nest. A small, quiet one having a snooze under mum, and a big, noisy one, demanding all the attention.
So a lot of this noise and pecking towards the beak of the adult is begging. It's the little one going, "I'm really hungry, I want my dinner." And eventually got its beak right down inside its probably mum's throat, and it's throwing up a kind of fish stew of partially digested fish bits.
And as if that wasn't grim enough, these chicks have a deadly, voracious appetite for something a little closer to home.
Being a young booby is not an easy life. So once one chick starts to feed up really well and starts to get to be a good size, it will sometimes kill its own brother or sister, which sounds unbelievable. Actually, it's quite common in the natural world. Now, this year so far, it's been a pretty good year. There's plenty of fish out there, so it doesn't necessarily have to happen here. But we do have one large, very active chick and one rather smaller one that isn't moving very much. And it could well end up being food for its own brother or sister.
Looking at that fluffy, feathered face, it's hard to believe that something so cute could be so deadly. This is the ratel, better known as the honey badger, and she punches well above her weight. As the name suggests, these badgers do love honey, but those teeth and claws are razor sharp and can cut through bone, flesh, even wire. They even have some immunity to venomous snake bites, and they're scared of nothing. Wrap this all up in an incredibly thick protective coat, and you have one seriously mean package. This is Buster. She's a young female and one of the only honey badgers in the world that's habituated to people. In the wild, these animals are on the move all day foraging for food. To keep Buster happy and in tip-top shape, she's taken out for regular exercise, and we're lucky enough to join her and see her in action. Off we go. Buster may live in captivity, but she's still a wild animal. I've got to be really careful because I don't want to be on the receiving end of those teeth and claws.
Ah! Whoa! Oh, I tell you, when she snarls at you.
We've hidden a few treats for Buster to hunt down so that we can follow her and see what an awesome animal she is.
The honey badger is an absolute whirling dervish.
She's already continuously on the move. They can cover great distances in a day, always looking for food.
Nose to the ground, tracking every scent they can find. Good girl, good girl. Ah! Whoa!
I've never been so terrorised by something so small before in my life.
Oh, crikey! When she turns, it's a really frightening sight. I know she's only small, but it's enough to put the wind up you. I think she's found something. Once she starts getting in with those claws, she's like an excavator, like a mini JCB. They can get through pretty much anything. Look at that dust just going up in the air. Go on!
Buster's long claws are perfectly designed for digging through this hard-baked earth.
Wow. Oh! She's got it. Well, I've been working with animals all my life and I know what that sound means. That means don't come any closer, I'm eating, and if you do, I'm going to bite you. Good girl, good girl. Honey badgers are in the weasel family, which contains some of the meanest animals on Earth. Weasels, stoats, things like wolverines, they're all animals that are notorious for of being capable of taking on other animals that are way bigger than they are and having no fear whatsoever.
There's no doubt that honey badgers are afraid of absolutely nothing, and that includes the big cats. They'll chase off leopards, even fully grown lions.
As a reward for having been so good, I think we'll let her have some of her favourite food. What's that, eh? What's that? Honey. Whoa. She may be only small, but not even a lion would get between a honey badger and her food.